She sat in the closet holding her breath. She could hear the men downstairs as she shook her head, trying not to cry. She'd been here for a while now, and could tell they were tearing apart her living room. No little girl should have to deal with this. She decided to be brave and peek out of the closet to see if it was safe. She slowly opened the door and tried not to make a sound as she looked into her room. No one was there, and she sighed from relief. She could hear them calling for her to come out. They knew she was there. She had to force herself not to cry. She was terrified of what was happening, and her parents couldn't save her. Not far from the closet door lay her mother's mangled form. She hears the sound of boots coming up the stairs. The voices are getting louder. She quickly closed the closet door and scrambled to get behind the clothes. The door down the hall opened and she heard a crash. She started to cry when she realized she wasn't going to live through the night. The next door swung open and she heard more banging and crashing sounds. She began to shake and she was sobbing with fear of what would happen next. She thought of the last thing she'd ever said to her family. She began to cry harder. The door to the room swung open with a loud bang and she covered her mouth. She tried to stop crying and discovered she couldn't. She could hear the footsteps right outside the closet. Thank you guys so much. This is my first story reading. I'm starting a new mini-series from a book I'm putting together of suspenseful stories. I'm currently collecting suspenseful stories on my Instagram and my Amino. If you have a suspenseful story you want to have shared, please go to my Instagram. Please go put hashtag #StayKawiwi in the story, at the end of the story, and I will make sure it's read in this. It's added to the book. This was actually a lot of fun to do, and I'm really excited for the rest of them. Some may be longer than others, and the requirements for the story are: you can't have it more than one chapter. None of my stories are more than one chapter. None of the stories are supposed to be more than one chapter. Make sure to add the name you want to be called by at the beginning of the story, so I know what I should call you in this. So I know what I should put on the photo, as well as what name I'll be putting in the beginning of the story as I add it to my book. It must be suspense. It can be a joke suspense story, but I prefer really suspenseful stories. It doesn't have to be horror. It doesn't have to be scary at all. It just has to be intense and suspenseful. So thank you again, and make sure to go subscribe to VP Streams and VisionTale Games. Also go subscribe to my friend Peridot. She's really awesome. And she does a lot of Undertale stuff. We'll be doing story readings on VP Streams from another book later on. Have a great day. And remember, folks, stay kawiwi.